Yo guys, it's JD here again, back for another video. This will be my second video, or at least in the formatting of the Dragon Ball Super manga reviews for Chapter 73. I'm just gonna try and make this a short video. I'm gonna talk about 3 or 4 different things. I'm just gonna give my thoughts on some stuff that is looking like it'll be divisive these coming weeks and months until the next chapter. I'm going to be discussing some of the Blue Goku versus Granolah fight, UI Goku versus Granolah, and then I'm going to talk about the Moro, or what was similar to Moro's technique that Granolah used. And then give my final thoughts on where I think the arc is heading and what might happen in Chapter 74. So we already saw the draft pages, Blue Goku versus Granolah. They appear even, but again, they're not really going all out. They changed scenery to the woodlands because, again, Granolah is a sniper, so it would make sense he would go into an area where he would have a tactical advantage using the branches and using the fauna, to get the jump on Goku, which he does. He uses his scarf as an anchoring point to knock Goku black, and it's a pretty divisive blow because it pushes him all the way through the forest, and Goku has to literally grab onto a branch to brace himself to get back on his feet. So yeah, we saw all that in the draft pages. It looks like Goku is using Blue Perfected, so that's good. There's no aura. He does power up, in which there is an aura, but that's because he's powering up because he's about to apply the principles of UI. So we see in this chapter Blue UI versus base Granolah, because Granolah is not going full power, and there's a reason for that. At this point is when Granolah starts to kind of struggle. At least he can't, even with his eye being the sharpest in the universe, he's not able to hit Goku because the UI properties are enhancing his speed and agility. And Goku, in a very similar fashion to the Tournament of Power, where Ultra Instinct Sign Goku does the not the Warp Kamehameha, but the Kamehameha where you evade someone's attack, energy blast or whatnot. Also, it's the same instance with Blue Goku versus Topo in the Tournament of Power Expo match. So Granolah does the warp, or Goku does the warp Kamehameha on Granolah, and he takes it point blank range. And Granolah's not dead. I mean, he gets up. He's got dirt, and his clothes is a little bit tattered up. But this shows that Granolah's that whatever this is, base Granolah, semi suppressed, whatever you want to call it. This is not a joke. He's definitely living up to the wishes title as the strongest in the universe. Goku, but before the Kamehameha was released, Granolah was able to hit Goku in his neck vital, so it brought him down to base for the third time. Granolah has now knocked out Goku, or beaten Goku in a way 3 times now, and Goku is still not really taking this seriously, which is interesting. At this point is where Goku realizes that this guy is no joke, and then Granolah, because he's starting to get a little flustered with the fact that Goku's not dying, Granolah decides to use Moro, or what is similar to Moro's. It's not his. You don't know if it's his magic, but it's the same technique where Moro, because Moro's that technique that he does in the Moro arc, where he shoots up torrents of energy or lava or whatever the planet's element is in the form of ki, because Moro's power, that technique, it either relies on Genki, which is the health and wellness of stuff, right? So the plants, the trees, the water, the soil, all that stuff has the spiritual aspects of ki, in this case Genki. Granolah does that attack, or at least what is interpreted to be that attack, and then Goku even comments that it was similar to Moro's. Like, why else would Toyotaru have Goku say that, if not for the reader to pick up on the cue that, hey, why did he do something similar to Moro? And then why did last chapter did he do something similar to Destruction? And then why do you do something similar to what we think is the instant transmission, but it could also just be the movement speed of Ultra Instinct, as I've been arguing before. Um, so this is important because this adds further credence to the idea that the granola, the wish that he made from Taranbo, was not just a power amp. This wish not only gave him the power, in the way of Jiren, where it's like raw power, but it's like he got the raw power and then some. And then some would be the techniques that make somebody the greatest in the universe. I thought it was just referencing the strongest in the universe, whether it's Goku, or since Goku and Vegeta might be relative, maybe both of them. But it appears to be that he got all the techniques of all the strongest warriors in Universe 7, including those that may be dead, such as Moro. Does this mean, this is something I've been thinking about, since Mirus is now considered immortal, right? He was brought back as immortal, and people wondered why the fuck he was brought back. What if it's because maybe Mirus' combat power, maybe some of the techniques that Mirus has that he hasn't shown us yet, maybe Mirus' base UI, right? Because Mirus does have Ultra Instinct. We know he lost his angel powers from the resurrection that the Grand Priest did for him, but I thought that was referring to the angelic powers, as in the stuff related to the staff, right? Reversing time, reviving people, traveling the universe freely, seeing the past, present, future through the staff, right? I thought that's the power that Mirus lost. But what if Granolah, because of the wish, and because Mirus is in Universe 7 and he's immortal, not a god anymore, what if Granolah got some of Mirus' power too, besides Moro? That could be a big problem if it turns out that Mirus still has some of his UI abilities, right? Like that could explain why Granolah seemingly has been doing stuff similar to base UI, right? So that's one thing that happened in this chapter. The second thing, which people are upset about, is Goku in his UI state being knocked out, right? It makes sense for two reasons. The first reason is even though it's the silver hair form, it's not at full power. And you might be asking, JD, how does that make any sense? How is he not at full power? Right? He hasn't really taken any damage. He just transformed. Well, the problem is that this is basic transformation logic 101. And this has been a theme since, Saiyan Saga, or not the Saiyan Saga, but the Cell Saga, right? When they were learning the different grades of Super Saiyan and how it affected their body, right? Every time you transform, it costs energy. It costs stamina, right? There's a toll that it takes. You give the energy or money or for the toll, and then you get the reward, which is the power increase or the increased speed and the other things we associate with fighting ability, right? Even though Goku has mastered Super Saiyan, even though Goku now has mastered Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, right? Because Super Saiyan Blue perfected is basically mastered Super Saiyan Blue, right? Ultra Instinct was never mastered, right? That's why one of the translations they call it the complete UI. Goku describes it as complete UI. In the translation I'm reading, they're saying it's perfected. I think complete is better because it's the true state of Ultra Instinct. But Goku only mastered how to tap into the form. That's what the moral arc was all about. Mastering how to tap into Ultra Instinct, right? But Ultra Instinct is more than just the transformation. It's a technique, as Whis reveals in chapter 71, right? And that's why Whis prefers Goku to learn to apply the principles of UI into his other Super Saiyan forms, including base, because that way he can use what UI is all about, which is avoiding any and all danger, however severe, but not being in a transformed state where it's so taxing, right? It was already revealed in chapter 71 that the form has a stamina problem. It will always have a stamina problem because Goku is not an angel, right? He hasn't undergone some kind of transformation where he's biologically an angel. Goku is still a mortal. He's not a god like some people think. He has the power of a god. He is not biologically, physically a god. He is still a mortal, right? And he still has a lifespan. Doesn't live forever. Doesn't have the cheats that you associate with gods, right? Like Whis and Beerus, right? They all live very long fucking times. As a matter of fact, angels don't even have a lifespan. So Goku is still immortal, and there are still limitations of, even if you have a godly technique, there are limitations that are applied. Goku mastered how to transform into Ultra Instinct, the silver hair form, but he has not mastered all the the problems that come with that form because it's a transformation. Remember, angels, they are always in Ultra Instinct passively, right? It's built into their base, but that Ultra Instinct that's built into their base is like the equivalent of what Goku's silver hair form is. The angels have that automatically, auto mode, right? They don't lose energy. It doesn't seem like they lose much energy. Goku doesn't have that yet. The base UI that Goku's trying to do is not anywhere comparable to the full power silver hair UI that Goku has. So again, it makes perfect sense that the form is not mastered, and it also makes perfect sense that the form has a time limit, right? That's why Whis calls it a trump card, right? And let's not forget, again, like I said, Goku's transformed a couple of times in this entire fight. Every time he transforms, he loses energy. So by the time he goes into silver hair or complete UI, it's not even at full power because he's transformed so much to get to this point. And he's taken damage, which affects his ability to regulate his ki, to draw out his latent potential, his latent power, right? This goes back to the hit fight from the manga, from the super manga. Vegeta had transformed so many times against the opponents in the Universe 6 tournament that by the time he was facing Hit, his Super Saiyan Blue wasn't even at full power. It lost most of its power. That's why when Goku went Super Saiyan God, he was quickly able to figure out Hit's Toku no Bashi because Goku had only transformed once, and it was to go into Super Saiyan God, and then he goes into Blue. Vegeta had transformed multiple times prior to that confrontation with Hit, so his power in that form was nerfed, and this is what's happening to Goku. So that's why Goku got one-shotted. But the other reason is because it's revealed that Granolah is doing some kind of key projection. It was never the real Granolah. The whole Granolah they've been fighting since Chapter 72 is literally an illusion, which is crazy. It's like basically Granolah's pulling a Madara. He creates a clone. He's like, hey, do you want this? You want this clone to do the Susanoo? Do you want this clone to do this? And that's dope. I mean, I like that. That was a cool little twist. I don't think anyone saw that coming. And it's possible that this clone afterimage multi-form technique that Granolah's doing, what if it's based off the spirit control from the Yardrats? That is, their size warping and the cloning that Yardrats can do. Remember, there was only one Yardrat the entire time when Vegeta went to Planet Yardrat, and it was Prabara, yeah, the Elder Prabara, but he made multiple copies of himself, but it was only actually one, and they were moving independently. They all seemed to have different personalities. What if that's what Granolah was doing, right? And people will ask, JD, how do you make that connection? How does that make sense? Well, if Granolah got all the techniques from the strongest warriors, what do Goku and Vegeta have? Or what does Vegeta have? Well, Vegeta has the Yardrat training. He has a high spirit control, which is essentially it's equivalent to saying that he has a high ki control. And it's possible that Granolah got that built into his base as a result of the wish. So does that mean Granolah has Force Spirit Fission? He's already done something very similar to the Hakai 3 times, and it's obvious foreshadowing 101 that it's probably the Hakai, right? If something quacks like a duck and looks like a duck, it's probably a duck, right? At this point, it's obvious, but again, it's not 100% confirmed. But yeah, what if Granolah has spirit control? I mean, that means no fusions. So that's dope. It could also just be the UI clones that Whis and Goku can do, which we saw in Chapter 68. It could be that, just a higher version of that. And then as far as the end of the chapter, it sets up the Vegeta versus Granolah. Vegeta's acting awfully cocky, but what Vegeta might be doing is he's trying to tempt Granolah. He's trying to get Granolah all flustered and to lose his composure, because that that affects your ability to fight well, right? Your mindset can affect your fighting power. And also that's what Beerus did, right? So it's like a parallel to what Beerus did against Vegeta in chapter, I think it was 68. So it looks like Vegeta picked up on some of Beerus's lessons, it seems. Do I think Vegeta will do well? it's possible he'll do well. I mean, he literally watched the fight, so and it makes sense actually that he should do well because if Granolah is all about attacking vitals, right? Then I think this is where we're gonna see Vegeta use the Topo God Destruction mode, but maybe for Saiyans. Essentially, what he'll just do is just create like a Kai energy barrier, and that way, whenever Granolah tries to go in for a close attack or a long distance energy blast, well, it'll just be Hakai because anything that touches him will be destroyed. However, I think the miscalculation on Vegeta's part is not realizing that the similar attack to destruction that Granolah did was actually destruction. So if Granolah tries to do that, and Vegeta thinks, oh, it's just similar destruction, there's no way it'll actually destroy my armor, it may end up doing that. Paralleling Beerus destroying Vegeta's armor. Except this case, it's like a Kai armor, right? And in a way, they'll just be negging each other because it'll just come down to power, right? Because you can overcome Hakai energy if you have more ki than the person who's using Hakai, right? And that's what Vegeta proved because Vegeta was stronger than Topo God Destruction mode. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting with Vegeta, but it's pretty obvious Vegeta won't win. I still think it's possible Granolah may have UI. I know he revealed that he didn't know what it was. He didn't know what the Silver Hair form was, but it's very possible Granolah just isn't aware that he has it, which sounds like a cop out. But you have to realize Granolah appears to just be doing whatever he got from the Wish. We don't know if he tested out everything that he obtained from the Wish. It seems like as he's fighting Goku and Vegeta, he's realizing stuff that he may or may not have, right? And now that he knows the name of the technique, which he referred to as the evasion technique, now he's calling it, instinct, but he's aware of it. He's aware of its properties, and he realized the weaknesses of it very quickly. It's possibly he heard the information about the UI and its accuracy waning because Goku revealed that to Vegeta. Or well, he was talking to Granolah about it, but yeah, I mean, something's going on with Granolah. It seems like he's aware. I think he's starting to realize that he has their techniques or that his techniques are very similar. And we'll see if he puts two and two together. We'll see if Granolah activates UI. I think he's been using base UI and he just doesn't realize it. But again, there's possibility that I'm wrong. But I don't know. I mean, this arc is about UI and Akai, and so if you made the Wish be the strongest in the universe, and the two mortals in the universe that are very strong happen to have those techniques, and you're the strongest, and you're getting techniques from all these strong people, it makes sense that he would have got both, right? If he has one, right? If he ends up with Hakai, then he should have UI. If he has UI, then he should end up with Hakai, right? They're both godly techniques that require God training, possibly God Ki. There's obviously the mindset thing, right? Sunyata, right? You need a mind that's empty and gentle, right? For UI, and then for Hakai, you need a mind that's bent on nothing but destruction. So we'll see. I'm excited. The art was really good. The pacing was really good. I would have preferred to hear or see Beerus and Whis spectating this fight, just to see how their students are doing, right? Maybe we would have learned more about what's going on in terms of the techniques that are being used. But they might make an appearance next chapter. We'll see. But yeah, Granolah is definitely living up to the Wish, and it's important because if this Wish were to be easily overcome, right? Like if Goku were to have quickly defeated Granolah, or if this was a complete one-sided match, then the tension in the arc wouldn't be there, right? Like if Gas makes a wish and gets the power, well, we'll just be like, oh well, how will he do any better than Granolah, right? Or if Frieza gets involved, how will he do any better than the other two people, right? The wish needs to be very, very OP, and I will make a collab video possibly this week on that because I think it's not as OP as people think it is, but I'll save that for another video. But anyways, thanks guys for watching this. I have a couple more videos planned for this week and in the future, and I'll see you guys later, guys. Bye, guys.